happy opening day for the Red Sox.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Very thankful to be here. First time I've actually been to the park. Obviously, I came up when I played, it was in Pawtucket. But I was eager not only to get to the ballpark, but I wanted to see the field. And I'm just fascinated with a lot of the AAA and actually minor league fields in general, because they're so much better than, what I kind of played in coming up. And hopefully these players realize, how good they do have it.
We broadcast a lot from these Throwback Thursday games, and all of the Red Sox players that come in, they say the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
That they're like, this is nothing like what we had when we were coming up.
Yeah, we played in some goat tracks before, but but this is awesome.
One of the things I always ask the players, was it harder to get into the bigs, or was it harder once you got there to stay in the bigs?
I think that's a great question. Maybe I might lean towards getting to the bigs, but then again, on the flip side of that pancake, it's you got to do some good things and do things the right way in order to stay there and make a career out of it. For us as a players, we don't think staying there 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years is being in the big leagues. You want to be able to try to be in there at least 5+ years, and not taking anything away from anybody who's got, whether they got one day, because I know how difficult it is just to get one day in the big leagues, much less play 20 years. It's very difficult. So I would probably lean more towards the first and getting to the big leagues.
And it all depends on where you play too, right? You had the experience of playing in Boston during the curse, and then obviously experiencing the breaking of the curse. Those are two different Red Sox fans.
Yeah, it is. And I'm very fortunate, very blessed too, that, the ownership felt like that I was sufficient enough to continue to play in the outfield. Because if you think about it, Red Sox aren't a low market team. We could have gone out and gotten just about anybody we needed to come in, like someone like Manny, or Pedro, and Kurt Schilling, that guys come in there. So they could have easily filled the void for me and sent me in a trade somewhere to get, a bigger name out there that maybe could produce a lot more than what I did. But so I'm very appreciative and very fortunate that the ownership felt like, I was sufficient. I was going to be the player that they wanted in the outfield, and hopefully I played the game the right way, that the fans enjoyed it. I know I could have been a lot better. I wanted to be a lot better. I wanted to be a lot more healthier, but it was one of the sacrifices when I played hurt, you get hurt a little bit more. And that's the biggest thing that I look back on. I wish I could have been a lot more healthy, take care of my body a little bit more, but I love the play. I love being with my teammates, and if playing hurt was something I needed to do, I did.
You do have the ability to say you drove in the last runs that clinched the year that the World Series broke the curse, right? That was your double?
Didn't know that.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
How did the purple-haired girl in the diner know that?
Didn't know.
Well,
I'm serious. And it's I think I heard Euclid last night. He was talking. They were talking about RBIs leaders where the Red Sox is. Like, hey, Devers is creeping up on you, and Euclid's like, what? And it's just something we don't look at the stats and something like that. I had no idea. If you'd asked me, I'd have been like, no, I didn't.
Somebody can Google that and double check me, because I reserve the right to be wrong, because I'm not an expert.
Well, I want you to be right.
So do I. You must have heard some of the craziest stories from Red Sox fans since the 2004 series about just what it meant to them or whatever. Is there a story that sticks with you?
I think when we were going to, we were going out west with the trophy. We passed an enormous gravesite, and it was like a sea of red out there. And it kind of, like right now I got chills up and down my arms, because everybody on the boat, I mean, not on the boat, but on the bus, we're having a good time, all that stuff. And it wasn't a lot of the players. It wasn't everybody. But, when we saw that, it was dead silent, and I think that just kind of epitomized, like, okay, everything that we did, this is Red Sox Nation. This is what it's about, because obviously there are loved ones out there that never had the opportunity to see, their favorite team win a championship. And so that meant a lot. And when I say a sea of red, this wasn't just a small grave site. I mean, it was bigger than the whole stadium, everything. I mean, you could just see it, and it was just a sea of red. And, we all looked at each other. I was like, that was unbelievable. And so that's the one big thing that stuck out to me. I don't know why. I mean, there's probably several other things I could have talked about, as far as fan interaction. And but that was one thing that has always stuck out, and one thing I continue to tell people, when interacting with fans.
Can you tell me what it was like to bring the trophy to Walter Reed that year? Because it was that visit that inspired the start of the home base program.
Yeah, I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the men and women who serve this country, that lay their life on the line for someone that they don't even know, for people they don't even know. And it's very special to me, because I'm in awe of people like that. And I don't think, they're glorified nearly enough. And I know your husband is serving, and thank you for his service. I know you guys hear that all the time, but for me, it's from the bottom of the heart. But to be there with those members who are in the state, some of them are in, difficult states. It was hard to, it's like, how can I communicate? And I just wanted to say, hey, look, I know I played the game, and if I'm help make your life a little bit better by being here, and it meant a lot to me. I was like, but you have no idea what it means for me and other players of what you've done. And I wish we could have spent more time there. I really do. And I mean, just so many Red Sox fans, just so many baseball fans in general. It was a moment that you'll never forget. I'll never forget. And I'm very thankful that we had the opportunity to do that.
I bring it up because obviously the news today with Mr. Larry Lucchino passing, who had a lot to do with that visit. So on a day like today, obviously honoring the legacy of Larry Lucchino and his history, not only with the Red Sox, but here with the Woo Sox as well. Is there a story about Larry that you would want to share?
Not many. Well, I mean, obviously he phrased him as the evil empire. Yeah. And I was like, that was before we really knew Larry. And I was like, I like this guy. He's got some moxie. And believe it or not, my agent knew Larry back when I think Larry worked with the Orioles. So he had a great relationship. And, to me, I think of Larry, for me, he was kind of an old school guy, old school baseball guy. And he wanted to put a winner on the field. He wanted guys to want to go out and win. I mean, not to say that they don't, but that's what he wanted. And how can we help get you guys there? And when there were situations where they didn't think they could, like, put a batting cage behind the dugout, like, I don't think Fenway structurally can do that. Well, we'll find a way. And they did. As far as adding on to the clubhouse, I mean, I was used to the clubhouse before, new ownership came in, but once we got the new clubhouse, it was like, wow, we got a lot more room in here. I don't know what the media is going to do when they can't find us. And but that was his mindset, and he wanted to his ball players, his boys, to go out there and have everything that they need to go out and compete at the highest level and to win. And you got to love, playing for somebody like that. It makes you want to be that. And just the interactions, he was a winner. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to make things happen, to put his organizations that he worked for in a position to win. And I know there's a lot of other tremendous attributes that he has. I know he had a loving heart, and he cared about this organization, cared about, I'm sure, Worcester, cared about his family. And but very unfortunate. I didn't know how sick he was. Obviously, him passing today, but he's got a pretty good seat for opening day.
It's Mistress Carrie. We're broadcasting live from the Sherwood Diner here at Polar Park with Trot Nixon. I have asked your teammates from the 04 team this before, and as someone who did not sleep for 2 weeks during those series to finally break the curse of the Bambino, have you paid for a beer in New England since 04 ever?
I think I paid for one at Fenway.
They really made you pay for one at Fenway?
I don't think I wasn't looking around for somebody to be like, hey, remember? It wasn't anything like that. But I tell you this, and I told a lot of the media when I talked to them earlier, was that even though I'm almost 50 years old and I do not look like I did when I played, because I feel really old and I'm really wide now and center of gravity has dropped. But Red Sox fans recognize you no matter what. I mean, I'll be in North Carolina where, there are Red Sox fans, but, it's the diehards that'll come up and quietly go, hey, are you Trot Nixon? I'm like, that's impressive. Yeah, I am. And but it just goes back, and what I mean by that is, how much our fans loved, baseball. How much they love each and every team every single year. It's not just because we won in 04. They love everybody, and it's a passion of theirs. Same thing with the Pats. I'm sure the Celtics, the Bruins, and they're just an unbelievable fan base, and that's why I haven't said it a whole lot, but Boston should be title town, even though they say it in Green Bay. I understand that, but this is title town, and our fans deserve to, for that to be said, because not only do we win for ourselves, but I wanted to win for our fans because, I knew it was 86 years. I heard about it every year leading up to it. I was like, God, and even if we had a really good season, if we didn't win the World Series, it was a failure, and nothing wrong with that. It just was because I wanted to win. I didn't want to just win the division or anything like that. I wanted to win a world championship. So 04 happened. It was it was a dream come true for a lot of people. I know a lot of fans, but for me as well.
I know you got to run. It's a very busy day, opening day here at Polar Park. But my favorite all-time Red Sox player, no offense, was Tim Wakefield. I cannot let you go without talking about Wake and what he meant to the organization as the Red Sox get ready to honor him on opening day next week.
Yeah, he was a brother. He was a brother. And I knew Wakey when I was a mutt. I called myself a mutt when I was a rookie, and he was a veteran guy then. And because I always joke with him, he played like 40 years in the big leagues. And the interactions, he was tough on young players early on. But to watch, him over the years soften up, and he's still competitive and all that stuff, that, from day one, I enjoyed, I loved being around him. And until, the last time I got to see him, I just really, when you talk about him, because he's gone, he's still here with us, but it's real difficult, because maybe I didn't see him every day like Veritek does. And I know it's been tough on the Veritex as well, but, it was, we lost a brother, and that team did. But it wasn't until Timmy service that I realized how much he's done in the city of Boston, not just on the field, but Dana-Farber and
home base program.
Home base program. And I told my wife, Catherine, I was like, I'm in awe of him right now, because I couldn't believe, like, he did everything he possibly could for not only those organizations, but for anybody. That's why he was in a clubhouse. There's the stories about him taking a back seat to, another teammate of ours that won some very important games, because he felt like maybe that was the best part. I'm here to help the team in any way, shape, I can. And for someone to do that, he even said, look, if I if this was 10 years earlier, I'd have never done that. And, you know, he's talking about himself, and I'm just like, him and Stacy, you know, my wife was close with her, and I still don't understand it, but in due time, I think we'll get the answers. You know, we're not meant to understand everything that goes on, but, and rightfully so, you know, when they wear the patch on his arm for him, and I'm sure there's a Tim Wakefield day, and there should be. And it'll be every day of those, it'll be rejoiced because of actually, you know, how much he really did. And I think there was a lot of my former teammates that really didn't understand how much Tim does on a daily basis, not only being a great husband and a father, but what he's done for organizations to better them off. And he's like a hero. I mean, that's what he is.
Well, I never thought 20 years ago that I would be able to personally thank you for helping to break the curse of the Bambino. So, Trot Nixon, thank you. Thank you for keeping us up all those midnight nights. Thank you for the duck boats. Thank you for all of it, because it meant the world to all of us, right? Am I right? Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much. Happy opening day here at the Woo Sox.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We'll be back with more broadcasting live from the Sherwood Diner, 100 FM, The Pike.